We've moved into the KSCA Music Hall. Our guest was born, was it Glasgow, Scotland?
Glasgow, Scotland,
Glasgow,
yes.
Scotland in 1946. By age 20, he was an international sensation. Some called him the ultimate flower child, with songs like Sunshine Superman and Hurdy-Gurdy Man. He's recently been in Los Angeles playing some shows at Luna Park, in fact, taking up residency, so to speak, at that West Hollywood club. Also recording a new album with producer Rick Rubin, who brought us the Beastie Boys, the Black Crowes, also Tom Petty's latest album, and who also brought back Johnny Cash to the critical limelight with that album, American Recordings. Please welcome Donovan.
Good morning, Los Angeles.
How are you?
I'm great, feeling good.
So how have you been?
I've been all over. I've been up, I've been down, I've been west, I've been east. I've been writing songs. I'm living in Ireland now, having lived there for these last 5 years, and a thriving little musical community Ireland is right now. And I was buzzed to be there writing songs this last 2 years, and I'm feeling good.
Good, and you're working with Rick Rubin now, who's been sort of a naturalist producer. On the Tom Petty record, the word was he didn't allow any synthesizers in the studio, and with the Johnny Cash thing, they recorded right in the living room. What kind of approach are you guys taking to this forthcoming Donovan project?
Very much a similar approach. In fact, Rick told me that he'd wanted to record with me for some time over this last 5-year period, and had been listening very closely to my early recordings, which I made with the hit producer Mickey Most in the 60s and the arranger John Cameron. And he was impressed by how little effects and echo were used on the vocals then. And like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, we recorded basically 3 songs in 3 hours in an afternoon or an evening. And we mic'd everything up and recorded pretty much everything at once. He liked that approach with me too, as he has done with John and Tom.
Is it just you playing guitar?
Well, we've started very purist, in fact, yes. Just like Johnny Cash, we opened up the DAT recorder and I started singing songs. Then we went in the studio, and in particular, two studios, Sound City and Ocean Way. These studios were built in the early 70s and have all the original equipment. And Rick, I think, is spearheading a trend of young producers and young musicians who are wanting to go back to dry recording and very simple recording. So we started acoustic, although I've been working with instruments that are known with me, congas, percussion, flute, and the great Danny Thompson on concert bass, a natural upright bass sound. So we've been very acoustic. Yeah.
A more natural sound. Well, you mentioned that the early recordings, Rick Rubin was impressed with the lack of echo on some of the early recordings. You've got a beautiful guitar there.
Yeah, I do.
It looks like it came from when this session was recorded. I want to play a song from way back when. We'll listen to this and we'll decide for ourselves how lacking in effects they were. They were pretty trippy as I remember them. But
yeah, well, the vocal, the first vocal was always dry and right in your ears, but other vocals may have dreamed up. Yeah,
dreamed up in and out.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this one from Donovan back. I guess it was like 1967. Wear Your Love Like Heaven, here on the new FM 101.9. On the new FM 101.9, that's Donovan, our music hall guest this morning. Recorded, was it 67?
Yeah, that was 67, 68. The winter of, I think it was, the summer of 67.
What kind of memories does it bring back to hear that again?
Oh my goodness, the 67 and 68 was a flowering, as we know. It was called Flower Power. Allen Ginsberg, the beat poet, came up with a phrase one day, and he was relating that flower to a spreading of awareness and consciousness all over the planet. Especially in the campuses and the coffee houses and the music rooms of the world. And I was deep involved in that movement, and I was expressing on this album, Where You Love Like Heaven, the feelings of youth discovering itself in the teeth of the Vietnam War, looking for a peaceful way.
Did you ever get to San Francisco during that period? And
yeah.
If so, how did it differ from Scotland and England?
Well, London was our scene. The underground in London produced an enormous amount of events, just as San Francisco and New York did. And in San Francisco, there was a great change around about early '68, which was unfortunate because the streets were full of flowers and light and energy when George Harrison and another time walked those streets, and I walked them. And then when we went back, we both compared notes and said something had happened. The drug culture had made a very dark turn. The light had gone out, and a lot of heavy things were happening. So there was a big change in Haight-Ashbury. It was unfortunate, but then at the peak of that flower power, San Francisco was a country on its own, and it was full of energy and light. And it's a shame things have to change like that, but the darkness did come to that town, as it did to London.
Donovan, our guest in the Music Hall this morning, who's been writing songs, you said, in Ireland.
Yeah.
And working on a new album here in L.A. with Rick Rubin. How about a rendition of one of the songs that'll appear on that record?
Okay, well, we're in this little club in Luna Park, which is a place to showcase these songs. This is like a song in progress, and it's called Please Don't Bend. Walking, talking along a lonely shore, with your hair blowing soft on the breeze. I do dream you into my life. Gift me your love if you please. Please don't bend my heart, made of glass. I can't promise to be here for you. Please don't bend my heart. She said to me, I can't promise to be here, be here, be here for you. So sweet as the wine. Music floats on the breeze from the town. I lead you, holding your hand in mine. Please don't bend my heart, she said to me. I can't promise to be here for you. Please don't bend my heart, made of glass. I can't promise to be here, be here, be here for you. Now you're trembling beneath my lips. Soon you'll be gone to the south. We say nothing, we two just know. No words of woe from my mouth. Please don't bend my heart, she said to me. I can't promise to be here for you. Please don't bend my heart, made of glass. I can't promise to be here, be here, be here for you. Well, thank you. Thanks.
We're with
Thanks.
Donovan Leach here in the FM 101.9 Music Hall. A song there. What's the title of that one?
Please Don't Bend.
Please Don't Bend, a song that I suspect will appear on the forthcoming record that you're working on now and that you might hear him perform at Luna Park, where you've got two more
I've
shows?
got 2 more Thursdays. I don't know whether there's any tickets left because it's so tiny. We've got so many people phoning up, but you
Yeah.
could phone up, yeah.
So Luna Park tomorrow and next Thursday night.
That's right.
When you emerged in the 60s, there were those who called you the UK's answer to Bob Dylan, who, let's face it, was a pretty powerful figure at the time. You had a chance to meet him. In fact, there's some footage of you in that film, Don't Look Back, you and Dylan sort of hanging out together. What kind of pressure did this put on a young guy? You know, a 20-year-old guy, you know, makes it big on the scene, and all of a sudden people are comparing you to Bob Dylan, who also was a young guy and who had a lot of
it was
energy around him.
He was happening a couple of years before and when Joan Baez invited me to play at Newport, she'd also introduced Dylan at Newport, and so there was a direct comparison through the Woody Guthrie influence, and I was in Europe what Dylan had been in America, a young guy who came along with a guitar, who hitchhiked around the country, slept rough, wrote poems, and was part of Bohemia. At first, it was a shocking thing to see, but I stood right on top of the press. When he arrived in the spring of 1965 to do his first tour on top of a first single, Times They Are Changing, he was bowled over too by the enormous onslaught of press that we both got, and the comparisons were there, like they'd compare the Stones to the Beatles. Who's better? You know, the Stones to the Beatles. Who's better? The 2 Ds, Donovan or Dylan? So I decided to stand right on top of the press and let everybody know that I had something different from Bob, but it was from the same tradition. And interestingly enough, the fight in the press was good for me because it clarified what I believed in. And for about 6 or 7 months there, I guess I sounded on some of my songs like him. He's a force to be reckoned with as a songwriter and a powerful singer. As the months went on in 65, 66, it became clear we both had 2 different paths. But it was a heavy one to deal with. But in actual fact, it worked to both of our advantages at the time.
Was there pressure on you to sort of come up with important music that people were going to write about and
I
was
already
gonna change the world? I mean, Dylan was definitely on sort of a...
Well, I already was writing like crazy. If you could call him an urban poet, I suppose I was a romantic country poet. He was talking about the Armageddon and the death of all our values, and I was speaking of the birth of a new set of values and a new spiritual way of looking at the world. So we were 2 very different kind of creatures in the songwriting, but I didn't have to try. The songs pour out of me. It's a gift, and especially in that year of 65, just like the Beatles and the other bands, I had like so many records out, 2 albums, 3 EPs, and 4 singles, all in the same year. That's how it was then. And in actual fact, my singles were doing better than Bobby's at the time in Britain. But I don't think that matters. It's not so many records that one sold, but the impact of Bobby on the world was amazing at the time. When we got together, we would swap songs. We are from the tradition. We are from the folk tradition, and we are very prolific songwriters, just like that younger fella, Tom Petty, who is coming into his maturity now. Like Neil Young, like Leonard Cohen, I joined a long line of writers and showed that I also had a place to sing and stand.
Well, we can't let you leave this morning without performing at least one of the old classics, so
Okay.
I'll give you your choice.
Okay, well this was
Donovan here in the Music Hall, by the way.
This one is called Hurdy-Gurdy Man. Thrown like a star in my vast sleep, I opened my eyes to take a peep, to find that I was by the sea, gazing with tranquility. 'Tis then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing the songs of love. Then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing the song of love. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy-gurdy sign. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy-gurdy sign. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 hurdy-gurdy. Histories of ages past, unenlightened, the shadows cast down through all eternity, the crying of humanity. 'Tis then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing the songs of love. Then when the hurdy-gurdy man comes singing the song of love. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy-gurdy sign. Here comes the roly-poly man, and he's singing the songs of love. Roly-poly, 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 poly sign. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy-gurdy sign. Hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy, hurdy-gurdy-gurdy sign. Hurdy-gurdy, 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 hurdy-gurdy.
Donovan.
Unplugged, always was.
Here in the Music Hall at FM 101.9. Once again, you're at Luna Park.
Yeah, Thursday this.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then next Thursday, although whether tickets are available is unclear.
Yeah, it's unclear. A bit cold, please.
We will find out for you. If you want to give us a ring here in the studio, we can check that out for you and pass the information along to you. Good luck with the record.
Thanks, man.
We're looking forward to hearing it. Once again, thanks to Donovan for stopping by this morning.